Signing in, everyone. Hopefully, everyone is well. Now, this might be a good bit of news. I'm hoping it's correct, it's accurate, but you got to think when World War One, World War Two, and other various wars were being fought. Imagine the same technology existing then as it does now. With people's access to the internet, being able to communicate quickly, even like phones with cameras, just things like that among the civilian population would make video footage easier to come across and more accurate depiction of what's actually going on in the various wars back in those times. We've actually seen it previously. I think people have actually taken video footage, and they shouldn't have, and actually gave away positions of conflicts that were ongoing, I think, in Ukraine, because it is on Ukrainian soil. Now, on top of that, I'll look at the markets just a little bit. The messaging is just crazy. It's been quite funny to watch. Before I cover that, we'll look at the rest of this with the war. Basically, this could be a narrative basically saying people are calling for Putin's resignation. There's been other articles saying that people from the inner circle have mysteriously gone missing or basically killed themselves or been killed. I don't know which one it is. It's all reportedly. And we are seeing also that, there's more signatures verified, and also basically the White House was impressed, I'm guessing, at the swiftness and it was called stunning as well. So there you go. I think there was articles as well saying that Russia was purchasing munitions from older weaponry from North Korea, of all places. We have also seen articles basically saying that Russia and China are working closely, and they believe sanctions against those countries are illegal. So again, that's not all that peaceful really, but what do you expect in a military-industrial complex? We have the inflation figure. So when it first came out, it was portrayed as breaking news on Twitter. It's good. It's reduced. And then you see the narrative through various articles as they gather their data points and trying to get their talking point together, or their information together. It went from being, it's a positive thing to basically, where is it? So this one reported on it rose by 0.1% in August, but this is related to even with a sharp drop in gas prices. Where is it? They do keep that number across all the outlets at 8.3%. Again, it's probably a lot higher depending on how you calculate it. I can actually do the calculations myself. I would have to see all the data. I don't think we're actually going to see that, but if you go to the shops and have a look, you'll probably see the prices are a little bit higher. So back to here. This is another article that came out later on, basically because of the talking point and the actual data that came out reportedly that said the rates are basically going to be risen by the Fed. Sorry, I couldn't spit that one out. Because it appears that although the inflation is not increasing, it's decreasing slightly, but it's still above expectations. So I'm not sure exactly what expectations they did have, but all indicators are pointing towards a rate increase, a strong, quite aggressive rate increase based on the previous treatment by the Fed towards this economy. The economy is stuffed, people. They don't know how to fix it. The only way they can fix it is to break it more. I think that's the same article. I think that's just as it's developing. Let's have a look. 9:43 a.m. 11:07. Yeah, so that came out first. Where is it? This one here. It looks like it doesn't want to load. Of course, why would it load when I'm recording? That's too convenient. Moving on to this one. This is like inflation drop from 8.5% to 8.3% in August. Don't tell Joe. He thinks it's zero. Remember, he came out and said, "Oh, inflation was 0%." Yeah, that's progress, I guess. The problem is the Fed target is 2%, and we'll get there by 2028 at this rate. Anybody see the problem? The Fed has to destroy the economy to save it. I commented, I just said, they've pulled all the levers. Now they don't know what to do, leaving the economy in a broken state. But yeah, again, negative yield curve regard to like bonds, long-term bonds. If the rate is if the rate is higher now in the short term than it is in the longer term, usually that kicks off recessions. And if we're already in a recession, then what is coming? JP Morgan said basically something worse than a recession is coming. All the data points are indicating to more pain, basically. Here we go. It's loaded finally. Where is it? Yeah, so 8.3%. Inflation reclaimed close to so it's still at a 4-decade high. Remembering the Fed and their body, their entity, all their workers basically said, "Oh, we don't see any problems." The signaling said, "We don't see any problems with inflation," and then it got away from them. And with the quantitative easing ending, enabling quantitative tightening, again, they've broken the economy. And now they're just making shit up. So they're going to use the good old CCP tactic, Communist Chinese Party tactic, where they just completely cook the numbers and tell everyone what they want to tell them what the data is. And that's kind of scary if you ask me, because once those tactics are employed, what's stopping them from locking everyone down? Oh wait, did that already happen? What's stopping them from forcing everyone to, you can imagine. Although some things are being wound back, I think in New Zealand, their government came out and said they're winding back all the mandates. So what was the point of the last, 2.5 years, pushing on 3 years? I don't know. Now, this relates to Visa and MasterCard. They decided to, if you didn't already know that when you purchase something on a credit card, it's quite possible that all your transactions are held on a ledger or a database somewhere. And if someone wanted to, if there was a crime committed or something, then I could imagine there being special powers that could reach in and access all your previous histories, purchases, and not probably so much sales, but more purchases, being a credit card or whatever. And now they're saying, I think this is US orientated, that basically if you're buying certain items specific to firearms, it might be across all the states as well, not just like one particular one, that they're going to put them on a particular registry. So they're not going to register the firearms or anything like that. They're going to basically mass sweep up all the data of people using it like a credit card that is provided by Visa and MasterCard, which when you look at the wallet, if you've got a credit card, chances are you've got a Visa or MasterCard, because Amex is a little bit more expensive, and I can't actually think of any other ones off the top of my head. None. Maybe the Bank of China, but they're probably still running with the Visa and MasterCard. So that being said, you can imagine from here where that could go. So I could go into the argument about the whole gun law argument, which I'll try not to go into, but I'll look at it from a control perspective. So if the companies, like the same companies that told their employees that they had to be vaccinated, although there was no government mandate, and the same companies decided that they could ban certain people off certain platforms, if those companies then decide, to put together a profile, a database of people who are purchasing firearms, I guess even the people that are selling and receiving funds for a firearm, because if you're a gun shop and you're purchasing firearms, technically you're buying them, so you're going to be put under the same database, even though that might be your living, And then what's next? So they could, this could give people ideas, but like, for control, and if they're like if they're pretty evil and they want to like sort of get everyone under control, you could see them, whoever they is, I guess the government of the day, tying in crimes committed by criminals, and then explaining why the crime took place, and then why the need to cut back on cash, because obviously people are saying just buy it with cash. Then the argument will be, well, we need to get rid of cash because cash is used for nefarious means. And it's like, so they're going to what are they going to do next? You know, could they just roll out more, reduce the cash supply? I don't know. Could they then apply like more databases, like, oh, why is this person withdrawing X amount of cash? I think in some countries it's like above a certain threshold you can't withdraw the money, or you have to make a money order, or you can't even do a transaction over a certain amount without it being like reported to the other person's social security number, like if you're making a transaction between people. Now think about, I guess, the burden on conducting business, breaches of your civil liberties, to name a couple of things. But think about the path that's leading down. So if you what if there was like a paid for subscription, and you look at the wrong thing on there, and they conduct the database, oh, this person's buying this particular sort of thing, or this person's buying this, but it's very concerning. It's almost like a pre-crime. They're trying to determine pre-crime. Let's have a look. Now it was really funny. So I stumbled across this one. I basically looked at Visa Crypto, and this page came up. I was like, okay, and I don't like it. It reads all warm and fuzzy, right? But then it's like, if you think about it, it could be a nightmare. It could be like a dystopian Orwellian nightmare. Now, that might sound a bit extreme, but have a look at it. It's like saying that they're looking forward to pioneer the global payments, and they've got a picture of USDC, and they've got a picture of Bitcoin, and a picture of Ethereum. They're specifically focusing on unlocking crypto opportunities. They're looking at providing innovations, Visa's vision for supporting the digital currency, keeping in mind the sanctions that were placed on Tornado Cash. Again, look all this up for yourself, and particular wallets. Sanctions, they're basically placing sanctions on wallets, addresses. Now, imagine a system that, if you think about the purchasing of firearms in the US being put on a database, in addition to sanctions, what other controls could be put into place? I mean, you could be, I don't want to give, like, just think about the horribles, the worst possible scenario. They basically tell you can only like buy at a certain shop, you can only spend your tokens at a particular shop on a particular item. Because of global warming, because it's an undesirable item. Like, what if you want to buy, I guess, ammunition for your hobby, and you don't have cash anymore, so you're forced to buy with credit through these tokens on a card issued, and that item is actually undesirable, so you won't be able to buy it anymore. So, things won't be illegal or banned, but you'd just be impossible for you to purchase them. Again, that's sort of a few layers deep, and it wouldn't be immediate, but unless there's some sort of pushback on the encroachment of our freedoms being taken away from us, like legally, lawfully, peacefully, politically, then this would be, I guess, what's that saying? The thing that lets evil triumph is, all it takes for evil men to triumph is for good men to stand by, do nothing, something along the lines of that. Yeah, credential issuance, crypto stable coin payouts. Yeah, so you can't use a viable business product like Tornado Cash. When I say viable, I just mean it's functioning, it's a smart contract, it enables for anonymity to run a business, because you could imagine why you don't want like your employees knowing how much money you have and where it's actually come from, because if everyone's transacting in that, because the blockchain's immutable, basically, you can hide your transactions, pay this employer this, pay this employer that, and they have their own privacy as well, because then you can't see what they're spending their money on, because you don't want to be able to pay someone and know what they're spending all their money on, or do you? Well, here's a solution. You have your own wallet, and you have your own payout in the USDC, and because it's through, I mean, I'm paraphrasing this, and I haven't actually seen the technology. I haven't actually seen how it's going to work, but I could imagine being issued a token on a Visa card, and then that allows you to spend it. So as you the user spend it, that can be traced, but the issuer issuing the token onto the card won't be traced as much. Yeah, see, like that already happens now. You have like a credit card and you make a purchase, and no one could really see your purchase unless you do like credit checks, background checks, and there's probably some other things out there that you can dig a lot deeper into. But for the most part, it's pretty private, you know. That's why I don't give your signature out and your pin and your chip, the physical card out to other people. Crypto consulting and innovation, minimizing crypto related fraud. I mean, see, this sounds so warm and fuzzy. It's like, yeah, that's good, man. We gotta roll this out, you know. The crypto phenomenon, making digital currency interoperable. I mean, cross-chain interoperability, solving the problems, you know. So don't worry about DeFi. You know, come to us. We've got the solutions for you. I mean, on top of what, like the potential for like you have to register each wallet, or you have to become like a broker to touch the crypto, or like if they can basically invalidate certain addresses through the address, yeah, you can imagine, you know. Making offline digital currency transactions possible. Like they're just explaining the blockchain, but they're making it seem like they've come up with the solution. You know, what already exists. They're wrapping it, they're co-opting it, they've let it run, and now they're gonna be like, we're gonna rein in all the control. On top of, we're just gonna call recessions whatever we want. We're gonna cook the numbers, and we're gonna crush the economy. And we're going to make you eat the bugs on top of all of that. Now that's a lot to unpack there, but if you go back and have a look into each particular topic, you might find little bits of information or data points or vectors that you could add together and create a whole. You might come up with your own conclusion. Discover Visa's vision for supporting digital currency. So it might not be, you know, the central bank digital currency, because there might be pushback because people go, oh, it's the Fed coin, the Fed's coming for it, that's not good. But then if it's issued through Visa and they partner with where is it, digital currency comes to Visa settlement platform, how they settle all your large transactions, and they're partnered with BlockFi, Circle, Coin, all these companies as per this website. Basically you'll go to them for all your cryptocurrency needs, and if you try anything else outside of what they've approved, blacklisted. You could see that happening, you know. It's very, very concerning. And again, like freedoms that were taken away, once they're taken away, they're very hard to get back. And I think if we are aware of this, and we as good people try and push back peacefully, politically, legally, and lawfully, we might be able to, we can change the future. Basically, our inaction will allow others to put forward their intentions on us. If we can push back, or we're able to, you know, put forward our own intentions, then we might be able to make a better future for everyone, you know. That's how time works. Now this one, I don't know if it will load. Yeah, here we go. So this was weird, man. Like at the same time this drops, like information overload, basically saying a whistleblower, I think it was, maybe not, maybe it's a different article, basically saying a former Twitter securities chief says that, remember how there was, Elon Musk was trying to prove that how many bots were on the platform, and Twitter said there's this amount, and Elon said there's this amount. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure if there's an ongoing legal case or what, but long story short, look that one up. If Twitter is saying there's this amount of bots and there's more than what they're saying, basically I would argue that's misrepresenting your business model that could be like a material sort of event, especially when the users are the actual income generators or the product. You know, they're the end customer. They're the things that are going to generate revenue for you. And depending on how many you have versus how many are bots versus how many are code, you can understand what I'm saying with that. Now, another layer, deeper layer on top of that, not including operational security, we've got former Twitter security chief says the platform's leadership is misleading the public, lawmakers, regulators, and even its own board of directors. So that sort of flows into that talking point, reportedly, that the Twitter bot count is higher than what Twitter was actually saying. And when people, like, if I'm going to buy something from you and you're telling me that, you know, this bottle of water has you know, like it's full of water, and that's why I'm buying the bottle of water, and then I go, hang on, there's no water in that, there's like a little bit of water, you know, I might feel a little bit ripped off. I might not want to go through the purchase, you know. So on top of that, I want a bit on a tangent, side tangent there, but we have here nomics.com, which I'm going to start to refer to them as price displayers, for lack of a better term, because I'm not looking at the market cap, although I think that's the order in which they are ranked. But if you look at it purely from a aggregation of data for the prices of a particular coin, because I'm pretty sure, or token, sorry, or whatever, you can probably sort this by price if you really wanted to. But yeah, what might be better is to look on the blockchain and see what it's actually doing. And we can see, oh, my notes, I wrote my handwritten notes before. I was trying to remember what risk on versus risk off is. Basically, we've got risk on crypto assets being crushed simultaneously with the equities. So if you try to tell me that legacy finance is not using the same signals they would use for the equity markets, I would argue that that is incorrect, and it's acting more like a risk. It's not like decorrelated from everything else, like Hex will probably do once Pulse Chain will probably do once cryptocurrency is saved, like literally saved from like the claws of the banksters, the banking cartels, who are like got their claws in now, and they're trying to like draw the blood out to feed on them, because they've got a whole new victim they can feed on, because they've developed all these new cryptocurrency users, you know. But yeah, and that is about it. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, just some more shit that's freaking me out. Signing out.